Hey everybody, welcome back to the Bourbon Note. I'm Greg.
I'm Ben.
And today, we're drinking bourbon. All right, Ben, let's tell them about this bourbon.
All right, this is continuing our Jim Beam Harvest Bourbon Collection. Bam! This is the 11-year age-stated whole rolled oat. So,
Holy old rolled oats.
this whole week is I was able to get 3 bottles of the Harvest Collection.
Yeah.
So this whole week we're doing reviews of the 3 we were able to get. And so this one is the one I'm maybe the most interested in because I've never had an oat bourbon before.
Grain.
Yeah.
We talked about it and we couldn't remember one. I know we've talked about them before.
Yeah, I've certainly never had one.
I don't think I have either.
So and I know I've said this in all the videos, but just in case somebody doesn't watch all of them.
Sure.
The Harvest Collection, I believe, came out in 2015. 90 proof, 11-year age stated on all the ones I have.
11-year age stated. They are a tad expensive. They're small bottles, 375s.
Yep. And then so the experiment is basically they ditched the rye and replaced it with something weird.
So does that mean, well, we don't know the exact mash bill, but so the roats, roats.
Rolled oats. There you go. You got it.
Is 20-something% maybe?
I guess I don't know.
We're
didn't
not exactly sure mash bill, but
it's maybe findable. If Sugar Kitty watches this video, I'm sure he'll comment and let us know. Because if anybody can find it, Sugar Kitty can.
Interesting.
Yeah, this is a really rich nose. It's a little more down the middle bourbon than I was expecting, but there is something unique about it, and I can't pinpoint it.
That's where I'm wondering is, like oats without any flavoring, and typically whenever I have oatmeal, it has a flavoring. It's kind of a boring grain. But I guess wheat by itself, I don't really have that a lot, but that's kind of boring.
Yeah.
Corn has some different flavor. Rye, I don't ever have that by itself, but it has some flavor.
Yeah, this is interesting. It's got a nice spice to it. It smells old. This is another one where the age is definitely coming through.
But I'm not getting a lot of individual experience type notes. So I'm not sure what to expect at this point.
Well, let's find out. Cheers.
This is, in a scale of 1 to 10, this is a 14 on the Whiskey Geek. You've got to try this.
You think so?
It's really interesting. Average regular drinker, and now we know this isn't available on the shelf. It's unique and weird. Not really a bad way. It's just not traditional bourbon. It has just some notes that are a little unique. I mean, it's experimental bourbon, and it drinks like that.
Yeah, I mean it.
But I like it. I really like it.
It's good. But
I would not have a pour of it very often.
Yeah, this is one of those ones you just maybe come to every once in a while, which is probably what I'll do with this bottle.
Yeah.
I'm having a hard time pinning down what it is that's unique about this. There's something that's different about it, but I'm having a hard time trying to figure out how to explain it.
There's a flavor, and it's a little bit buttery. It's a little bit of like a flaky pastry crust that is kind of unique. And it does have a little bit of brown sugar and a little bit of like bourbon-y kind of notes with a tiny bit of caramel. But there's this one flavor that's kind of like missing stuff. Right?
That's what I was gonna say. It feels like there's something about it that's a little flat. Like, not flat, and there's a lot of flavor, but there's a sharpness to it, but there's not a lot of like a rich flavor to back it up.
Exactly, yeah.
It's almost like, how when you have like a flavored carbonated water?
But there's not enough
There's not enough flavor, but you get the sharpness of it, and so it kind of creates this, like the flavor is there, but it's just there's not enough of it to compensate for, some people like that, but I hate it. In a way, I feel like this one kind of is like that, where there's a lot of sharpness from the age, and then there's a flavor there that's really trying, but it's not quite coming through.
like I kind of equate it. It's like a pastry or a pie crust or something, but there's no topping with it. It's just kind of the base without whatever traditional toppings you would have.
Yeah.
And so it's missing something, but it's not bad. And it's kind of a unique experience where, like, I like it. I would, if I saw a bottle of this at a reasonable-ish price, I would buy it because I find it really interesting.
Mm-hmm. But it's just a tad bit
it's not an everyday type drink.
No.
But this one, I think, checks the box for being an experimental whiskey that is worth trying. If I saw another rolled oat type whiskey, I would definitely pick it up because I think I'm interested at this
They do make them.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just a really, really difficult one to explain. And so I feel like I need like another sip or two.
Yeah. But again, as a special use or experimental type whiskey, you don't want to pay a ton for it because it's definitely not going to be for everybody. And it's probably going to sit on the shelf as a you got to try this occasionally thing. So this one's interesting. I got to say at this point, I really like the Jim Beam, what'd you call that, the series?
The Signature Craft or whatever, and then it's
Craft.
the Harvest Bourbon Collection.
Yeah, the Harvest Bourbon Collection. I like what they did. Admittedly, one was a little bit of a, maybe not my favorite, the brown rice. Love the wheat. Really find this one interesting. So I would like to see more of these from Beam. You know, admittedly, it's hard to do 11 year bourbon.
Yeah, when it's 11-year age stated, it's a bold move to do an experiment like that.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think that, we'll probably release this one last out of the 3, or let's just make it a point to do that.
Yeah,
so I can kind of do a little recap here.
It makes sense.
Of the other ones. I really, really like the wheater.
Agreed.
The brown rice was a little flat. This one is a little flat, but not as flat as the brown rice. But this one and the brown rice both had that tannic bitterness that just didn't have the sweetness with it to kind of balance it out.
Right.
Whereas the wheated one had that tannic note from being well aged, but the sweetness presumably from the wheat really kind of made like a nice balance. And this one just feels like it's just a little off balance.
Yeah, totally agree.
So, but I mean, if you see these and you're a bourbon geek, I'm glad I picked them up.
Oh, absolutely.
Because this will be fun that you have friends over that are into bourbon. You can kind of pour them something that's not really available anymore and something's, experimental and a little bit different. So.
Totally.
All right, well, this has been the final episode of the Jim Beam Signature Craft Harvest Bourbon Collection. Whole rolled oat on the bourbon note. I'm Ben.
I'm Greg. Till next time. See you next time.